Hey, this is Raulh of Please Act Right. We're living in a society where more and more black women are growing up in households without their fathers. So we can understand why she might not know her role with a man that she's dating or married to that's living in the same household with her. However, some of these young ladies are growing up with their fathers in the household, and their fathers are treating them like princesses. Are these fathers causing their daughters harm when it comes down to how she should function with a man in a household or in a relationship? Take a listen to this young lady right here. Oh, and before we get started, if you like my videos and you want to see more, take a second and click the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll give you a second. Okay, so now let's get started.
My father has treated me like a princess my entire life. So what you're telling me is the minute I step into a romantic relationship, I forfeit my princess benefits. I am no longer a princess. That's what you're telling me? I have to start lifting fingers? Like, what?
So, will she lose her princess benefits when she gets into a relationship with a man? Will she have to, as she puts it, lift a finger? You damn right you lose your princess benefits, because that's how fathers treat their daughters. That's not how men treat their girlfriends or their wives. And yes, now you have to lift a finger. This is why most women miss the point of being in a relationship. It's not all about you and a man taking care of you. You have to take care of your man in return in order to have a fulfilled, successful relationship. Too many of these young girls are getting it mixed up when it comes down to a man taking care of them versus their fathers taking care of them. Your father has to take care of you. He brought you into this world, and you don't owe him anything, but you owe your husband wifely ways. That simply means you're gonna have to contribute to the relationship and to the household. Take a listen to this father telling his daughters how a man is supposed to treat them and take care of them. Now, I don't wanna get a copyright strike, so I'm gonna have to interrupt it to follow the YouTube guidelines. I want you to keep this in mind. He's talking to two of his daughters and another young lady that's in the room that you don't see on camera.
I've been married to my wife for 18 years, going on 19 years. My wife has never paid a mortgage payment. She's never paid a gas bill, electric bill. She's never paid a cable bill. She's never had to pay insurance for her cars.
That's great. But tell us what your wife was doing while you was paying all the bills for those 18 years.
A man that got 8 children and 12 grandchildren.
Say it again.
Okay? And I've never been under one child support order.
Okay, cool. You've been taking care of your kids like a man is supposed to. But what was your wife doing while you was paying all those bills?
Take care of all of them. You do for
and
all
I do for all my kids. Whenever they need me, all they gotta do is call their daddy, and I'm right there.
Outstanding. You are a responsible, dependable father. Once again, what was your wife doing?
So if you meet a that can't treat you the way your father treats you, you don't need that.
Oh, mouthful. Hello, good. Mouthful said. Okay. Mouthful said. Say that.
Okay, here's where it starts to get one-sided. He's right when he says you want a man that's going to take care of you as well as your father does. However, he still hasn't told his daughters what his wife was doing all those years he was taking care of his kids. Keep in mind, the woman holding the camera is his daughter, and the young lady on the couch with the stonewashed blue jeans on with the red and white gym shoes is a woman who I believe is his daughter too. And there's another woman in the room behind the camera because I can hear her voice. Is he setting up 3 women for failure when it comes down to marriage?
Why you get a man that can't do? If my dad can do that, I don't need you.
Okay, Dad, but you can't give her the affection and attention that she wants and desires from a man from a relationship standpoint. Also, Dad, how much longer are you gonna be around? And don't get me wrong, this has nothing to do with age, but it has to do with the fact that none of us know when we're gonna leave this world.
You set that standard that low, that the girls up, because then they go out there and go for any shit. You gotta set that standard high, right here.
And that's great that you're telling your daughters that they have to have a high standard based on how you took care of them. See what I'm talking about with this one-sided information that he's giving? He's going on and on and on about what a man is supposed to do for them, but he says nothing about their responsibilities to the man that's going to do all of that for them. This is exactly the point that I'm making about some of these fathers messing up the minds of their daughters. He's got them thinking that they're supposed to be taken care of just like their father took care of them, yet give nothing in return.
So she'd be like, I don't want that's not going to treat me as good as my father. As long as I'm above the ground, you call me and say, Daddy, help me. Before you drop the phone, I'm standing right there. What you need, baby?
Okay, now that sounds great, doesn't it? When he says, call me and I'll be there and ask, baby, what you need. Hate to burst your bubble, but that's not good parenting if he's talking about grown women. Here's how it really works. If you're a grown woman and you call your daddy for help he is supposed to come and check on you. However, when he asks her what she needs and she needs money for something, if this woman is working and out on her own, he needs to ask her, what happened to your money for the reason that you're in this position? Because if she's grown, she needs to be responsible. And as a father, it should be his duty to make sure that's what she's doing, being responsible. And if she's not, he needs to help her make that correction. But not this father. This kind of father is seriously creating monsters, and he doesn't even recognize it. They will spend a lifetime being irresponsible with their money and not taking care of bills because they know daddy will come bail them out without question. Now what happens later on when dad is no longer around? Now they have to learn to be financially responsible as grown women rather than he should have taught them that while they were younger. And here's where the disaster happens. These women will take the teachings of their fathers into the relationship with the man and expecting him to do everything like their father did. She would blow her money on nonsense, knowing she has bills due, and then ask her man for money to pay her bills. Therefore, being financially irresponsible. And who's to blame for this? Her father. Because look what he's teaching them. All the stuff that a man is supposed to do and saying nothing about what they're supposed to do in return. Well, it's his fault until they get into their 30s. Then the woman should know better on her own. I know women right now in their 40s and 50s who are passing up on good men because he won't allow her to be financially irresponsible. She's holding out waiting for a man to take care of her just like her father did. They say they will not settle for any man that expects them to contribute financially. Newsflash, you're in your 40s and 50s and he still hasn't shown up. You actually think he will? Okay, keep on waiting. But if I was you, I wouldn't hold my breath. You gonna pass the out.
That's a damn
Like, this is why I love him.
Y'all gotta fall in the word.
That's shit about. You know?
Did you hear them? This is why I love my father, says his daughter. And the other young lady in the room says, you got the best father in the world.
That's a damn
Like, this is why I love him.
Y'all gotta fall in the word.
That's shit about. You know?
Of course they're gonna say he's the best father in the world because he's telling them what they wanna hear. What man in his right mind is gonna take care of you like your father did and receive nothing in return? This is where the biggest problem lies with most of these modern women nowadays. They want the man to be completely responsible for them while they bring very little or nothing to a man's life.
My father has treated me like a princess my entire life. So what you're telling me is the minute I step into a romantic relationship, I forfeit my princess benefits. I am no longer a princess. That's what you're telling me? I have to start lifting fingers? Like, what?
Yes, you lose your princess privileges the minute you start dating a man. Why? Because when you get married or get into a serious relationship with a man, you're supposed to graduate from princess to becoming a wife or showing wifely ways. And a wife has to put in work. Don't get me wrong, you will always be a princess to your father.
I think that it is absolutely insane and extremely hypocritical for a lot of us women to go around demanding that a man have all of his together, that he have all of his money, that he have the nicest car, the nicest clothes, the nicest house, can take care of us and spoil us. And meanwhile, we turn around and don't have to offer this man in return but our vagina.
Here's some more proof that some of these women can be off their rocker with this nonsense of thinking that a man is supposed to take care of them no matter what the circumstances.
Did like this, my mama did like this, and that's all it is. And I think I gave you an example a couple days ago when we was talking. I knew this girl, she made $250,000 a year, and she dated a dude that made $50,000 a year, right?
Interesting.
But she was raised in a household where the man paid all the bills, and that's what she expected. So she wanted to keep her $250,000 and let her husband pay all their bills with the $50,000. That's insane.
She's a psycho.
But she was dead ass serious. And that's why these conversations to me get like, it's automatic tension. I'm like, you don't make any sense. Your marriage is not gonna last. You're gonna fall apart.
And are they?
Nah, they split.
Yeah, okay.
Notice he said they split up. Good for that man, because he saved himself from being with a selfish woman. And this is what I'm talking about when I'm saying some of these fathers are spoiling their daughters and not teaching them that they have to be financially responsible too if they're in a relationship or a marriage. You have to be, just like the young lady said, psycho, in order to think that you're gonna keep your $250 a year and not pay a bill while your husband pays all the bills with $50,000? Really?
Yep.
How does that make sense though? Honestly, like, what do you do with your $250,000 a year that you make?
Spend it till it's gone.
Hear what he said? She'll spend it till it's gone. This is what I was referring to about the previous video with the father saying that all they have to do is call him and he'll be right there asking them what they need, rather than asking them why they need anything if they have their own money.
And see, that's sad to me. Okay, so when you think about generational wealth, you think about savings and what have you, and so somebody is saying, oh my goodness, I can't wait to find a man just like him.
Some of these financially irresponsible women do want generational wealth, but they want the man to create it and provide it. She doesn't want to sacrifice anything of hers to build it. And of course, they can't wait to find a man just like him. A man just like their father. A man to take care of her, and she do absolutely nothing in return. Now let's take a listen to the young lady and see what she has to say about being financially responsible in a marriage.
I feel like that's one of those things. I think it's a psychological thing. It has a lot to do with how you're raised, and it has a lot to do with what you're used to. In my mind, I feel like on the most basic level, my husband should be my provider. When I hear provider, I think shelter. That's the number one thing. We might not have no lights. We might gotta figure out how we're gonna eat, but there's a roof. I don't have to be out in the rain. I don't have to be homeless. There's a roof. And I'm like, yo, got that? Cool. I can do Wi-Fi, light bill, gas, whatever. I'm cool on that. But I feel like you, the biggest bill, which is usually living, rent, mortgage.
Now, that's what I'm talking about. A woman who's willing to take some of the financial responsibility. I want to make a side note here. Did you notice she's wearing a serious wedding ring? Any woman that's not willing to be financially responsible in a marriage has no business getting married. It should become a common practice that she should always want to contribute directly or indirectly to her household. That means, like the young lady said in the video, she should take on some of the smaller bills while he's paying the larger one. Or, if he decides to pay all the bills, that's fine. However, she should systematically be saving a percentage of her income every time she gets paid in case something goes wrong. A wife's duty is to back her husband up. That includes financially, no matter how much money her husband makes. This simply means she should be willing to put away 10 to 30% of her income into the savings account on the regular in case of a rainy day. Here's the main focal point of me making this video. Being taken care of by your father versus being taken care of by your husband are two totally different men. You don't owe your father anything because he brought you into this world, with the exception of help take care of him when he get older, when he can't do it for himself. But with your husband, you owe him wifely ways. No grown woman should think she should get into a relationship or a marriage with a man who's going to take care of her and she has to do absolutely nothing in return. That's just pure foolishness and selfishness. Fellas, do not marry a woman who is financially irresponsible. I'm warning you, she'll be nothing but a liability to you. And for the ladies, if you want to do it your way and sit back and wait on a man to pay all the bills while allowing you to be financially irresponsible, go right ahead. Just remember this. I personally know too many women in their late 40s and in their 50s who've been doing that very thing, and he still hasn't come. So if you're sitting around waiting and the same thing happens to you, don't say I didn't warn you. Hey, somebody had to tell you, and I love you, so it might as well be me. Don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell to get notified when I post a new video. I post a new video every week. And in the meantime, will you please act right? My name is Raulh. See you in another video. So if you enjoyed this video, check out one of these two videos right here. I'm sure you'll enjoy them too. And if you like, you can visit my channel. I have plenty of videos there. Go ahead. Don't be scared.